Hey everybody, so today we are here at the Roadman Cemetery. Stephanie had to run ahead and left it up to me. We're here to volunteer and help get this cleaned up. So I'm going to turn this over to the person that knows a lot more about it, Kathy Barnes, and so follow us.
Kathy Barnes. I am here to help clean Roadman Cemetery. I'm with the Tennessee Historical Cemetery Preservation and Conservation Services.
Wonderful. And can you tell me a little bit about how this idea kind of got started to come here and clean this cemetery?
I work at the local newspaper, and we were always getting letters about how horrible this cemetery was. And Linda Branham, who is a retired local educator, would bring the Sharp Kids program to the cemetery because she said it was basically the history of the county all in one cemetery. And she said it had gotten so overgrown she could no longer bring students here. And she said the last time she had known of it being cleaned was years ago. And according to documents I've looked up, people said in the 80s and 90s it was overgrown. In 1970, when they did a cemetery book for the county, at that time they indicated there were 70 or 75 marked graves here, plus several unmarked graves. And it's believed to be the first municipal cemetery in the county, and it was for Newport, which we refer to as Old Town, because after the bridge was built, the town moved across to the other side of the river. So the last burial in this cemetery occurred in 1928. And I think the first burial, she was buried around 1790. And when I first came to this cemetery, I didn't believe it was a cemetery until I saw one headstone, and that was a Revolutionary War soldier, Peter Pine, sitting at the corner. And I have learned there are 2 Revolutionary War soldiers, 2 Civil War soldiers, and a World War I soldier all buried here in this cemetery. I did a presentation at the Sons of Confederate Veterans local camp, and they agreed to help, so several of them are here. And then I did some Facebook posts and did an event, and I did an article for the newspaper. And so a lot of these people said they didn't even know the cemetery existed until today.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are you kind of surprised at the turnout of how many people came to support and help and clear it out?
I am, and a couple people introduced themselves to me, and they just came because they saw a Facebook post, and they saw the event, and they said they never knew this cemetery was here, and one of the gentlemen actually has moved here from out of state, and he's interested in history, and so he just showed up to help.
Yeah, what does that tell you about the community here in Newport?
They're wonderful. I mean, we saw that with the flood. I'm 8th generation here. And I'm proud to, be able to support my county's history.
Yeah, and can you tell people a little bit, you covered a little bit, you said when you first got here, you didn't even know it was a cemetery because all you could see was kind of all this brush, all these trees. Can you just explain to people kind of what it looks like in there, what it's like walking through there, and, kind of what the journey's been like of trying to clear it out and what the process is like, I guess?
There are a lot of small trees and saplings that are having to be sawed down. There are bushes, there are vines everywhere. When the first day, a couple of us cleaned, Channing Green and I cleaned one day, and the ground felt different, and we found we were walking on ledgers that were covering headstones, covering the graves. So we got down on our hands and knees and we're pulling the vines and splitting them off. And I've been told there are several more ledgers in the back that we've not found yet. There are headstones that are fallen over that are going to have to be reset. There are broken headstones. There is a headstone from like 1810, I believe, and it looks like it has been run over. It looks like maybe a motorcycle or something has just run across it, and it is down in the dirt. We'll probably have to dig it out. But there are headstones everywhere. There are indentations. There are headstones that people, I guess, have found that have fallen over and they've set against trees. So.
Oh. What is the importance of taking care of a gravesite like this, especially with those veterans in there, you know, kind of honoring them in a way by cleaning up?
Right. It's preserving history, and it's honoring those who, a lot of these veterans, you know, sacrificed, and their families sacrificed to make our country and our community what it is today. And they deserve our thanks and appreciation. And when we clean a cemetery and there's a veteran's grave, we try to put an American flag on every veteran's grave. If it's a Confederate veteran, we honor them with a Confederate flag.
Yeah, and my last question for you is, can you tell us, you talked a little bit about it to me, but can you tell everybody how long you think this process might take with how big the cemetery is, and when you're kind of expecting it to have it mostly cleared out by?
This will probably take 3 or 4 months. This is not the first cemetery we have started working on this year. I know that the Sons of Confederate Veterans have worked on several cemeteries last year, and that's how Channing got started, and he ended up doing 30 cemeteries last year by himself. And this year I think we have been working on about 12 or 15 already. But this is a major project, so we expect probably 3 or 4 months. But when it gets really hot, it's impossible to work like that because it's kind of cool this morning and we're already overheated. So.
Yeah, and you guys have food and water and stuff. Was that provided by anybody?
We had some donations that helped with that. And so we always appreciate community support because it can get expensive.
Yeah, for sure. And then is there anything that I didn't ask you about that you think is important to add, or just kind of let people know about what's going on here?
They can keep watch on Facebook in the Cott County groups for upcoming community cleanup days. We always need volunteers. They can visit TennesseeCemetery.com, and that will talk about some cemetery cleanups. And there's also a Facebook page for the Sons of Confederate Veterans, and I think it's Major James T. Huff Camp.
Wonderful. Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so they put these orange flags on
Every time they
find a grave.
as they're moving through, slowly but surely.
More flat rock, grave going.
Right.
Yeah, flat rock, markers,
Here's them bagels I told you about.
all the ones that are laying flat. Thanks, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Now I think they said that this encompasses an 1.5 acres.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see. Ain't much to that one, is there? It's that
It's
tiny
so
little
warm.
stone. Now a lot of these, you see there's not much, just a little rock. But that's what they did a lot of times when they didn't have the money for a headstone. They have, what do they say, Revolutionary War, Civil War.
Yeah, as far back as 1790, they found that was legible.
You can see a bunch of them up here. And of course some of them have fallen over, will need redone, but you know, that's a lot of why they're doing this. there we found one with 2-year-old.
Usually back in that era, in the late 1800s, mid 1800s, they would put a sheep carve as a child, you know, for a child.
You see the sheep there? The lamb, I guess it would be.
Small child.
But I mean, size of the trees growing up right over top of the graves in here.
This has all gotten cleared this morning. Some of the crew working diligently.
Here we got the whole crew, the whole crew of helpers, getting some lunch. All right, so that corner that I started working on, the reinforcements showed up. They're getting it knocked out. I got a couple more things to show you. I'll show you how clear this got since we were here earlier. I mean, look at that. And then one of the guys here helping today, that's actually his great-great-grandfather, and fought for the Union Army. And what they do is they put a little American flag in with all the Union troops, and a little Confederate flag for all the Confederate troops that they find in here. There's a lot of progress we've made in actually a short amount of time. So you're worn out?
Yeah.
I'm worn out.
I didn't do near what everybody else did, but I don't have to. I'm a big girl. I like my cake, and it's obvious. And I can't step easily and gingerly over these roots and
rocks and right. So they said that this is going to be like a 3 to 4 month project.
Oh, easily. Oh, but they did such a wonderful
Right
job
now,
today.
they're looking for donations to be able to get a flagpole, a sign, and hopefully a wrought iron fence to go around the cemetery.
Be beautiful.
So keep that in mind. We want to thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, have a Steph-N-Lee day.